Ever feel like the world is constantly trying to convince you that you're better off alone? That to really grow in life, you need to be a lone wolf? Well, today we're diving into a neon-soaked cyberpunk world to test that theory. We're following the Quad, an elite squad that was untouchable until they made one fatal mistake. They stopped trusting each other. This isn't just a sci-fi thriller. It's a life-changing story about ego, betrayal, and the lies we tell ourselves. If you're chasing your own success story, you need to hear what happens when the connection breaks. Trust me, the ending will stick with you. Let's enter the Fracture Protocol. The city of Neos didn't sleep. It only recharged. In the lower sectors of Neos, where the holographic billboards flickered and the acid rain hissed against the pavement, there was a squad known simply as the Quad. They were legends in the underground, not because they were the strongest individually, but because they moved like a single organism. There was Jax, the tank. He wore heavy, repurposed industrial armor. He was the shield, the one who took the hits. There was V, the hacker. She saw the world in code, disabling security grids before the others even saw the cameras. There was Kale, the scout. He was all reflex and speed, moving across rooftops like a shadow, spotting danger miles away. And finally, Ren, the medic and strategist. He kept their heads cool and their bodies patched up. Life in the lower sectors was dangerous. The streets were prowled by sweepers, corporate death squads sent by the mega corporation Omnicorp. Omnicorp wanted to gentrify the lower sectors, and they wanted anyone with skill either employed or erased. But Omnicorp couldn't touch the Quad. Whenever a sweeper squad cornered them, the Quad engaged what they called the Phalanx Protocol. Jax would drop his energy shield, Kale would flank with suppressing fire, V would jam the enemy's weapons, and Ren would coordinate the counterstrike. They were untouchable. They were family. They shared food, credits, and safe house codes. As long as their neural links were synced, they were gods of the asphalt. High above in the obsidian glass spire of Omnicorp, Director Silas watched the drone footage. He was the lion of this concrete jungle, cold, calculating, and hungry for control. "They humiliated another squad, sir," his assistant said nervously. "4 units lost. The Quad is efficient." Silas sipped his synthetic coffee. "They aren't efficient. They are unified. That is their glitch. You cannot break a wall that reinforces itself." He swiped a finger across his desk, bringing up a hologram of a sleek, silver-haired woman. Her name was Echo. She wasn't a soldier. She was a psychological operative, a jackal in human skin. "Physical force is expensive," Silas murmured. "Echo, I want you to initiate the Fracture Protocol. Don't attack them, just talk to them." Echo didn't climb a wall. She climbed into their digital lives. For weeks, the Quad saw nothing suspicious, but Echo was there, lurking in the encrypted chat rooms and the dark web forums they frequented. She started with Jax, the big protector. One night, while Jax was repairing his armor alone, A message popped up on his private HUD. It looked like a leaked memo from the other team members. Message decrypted. Jax is getting slow. He takes too much damage. We're carrying dead weight. It was a fake, forged by Echo, but Jax didn't know that. He frowned, looking at his scarred armor. I take the bullets for them, he whispered to himself, a seed of bitterness taking root in his chest. And this is what they think? Next, Echo targeted V, the brilliant hacker. V received an anonymous offer for a high-end tech upgrade, a piece of tech she had always wanted. The message attached read, "A talent like yours is wasted babysitting grunts. Imagine what you could do if you didn't have to wait for the slow ones." V looked at Kale and Ren laughing in the corner of their safe house. For the first time, she didn't see friends, she saw anchors holding her back. The atmosphere in the safe house shifted. It wasn't sudden, it was a slow rot. During missions, the Phalanx protocol became sloppy. "Jax, you're out of position," Kale shouted during a supply run. "Maybe if you didn't run ahead trying to be a hero, I wouldn't be," Jax roared back, not raising his shield to cover Kale. Ren tried to mediate. "Stop it. We need to sync up." "Easy for you to say," V muttered, her eyes glued to her screen. "You just sit back and give orders while we do the work." The silence that followed was heavier than the city smog. Echo, watching through a hacked camera in their kitchen, smiled. She reported back to Silas. "The frequency is disrupted. They are no longer a network. They are just 4 disconnected nodes." It happened on a rainy Tuesday. A high-value contract popped up. A simple data retrieval from an abandoned warehouse. Usually, they would plan for an hour. Tonight, they barely spoke. "I'll take the roof," Kale said coldly. "I work faster alone." "Fine," Jax grunted, grabbing his heavy rifle. "I'll take the front door. Don't expect me to wait for you." "I'm going to access the terminal remotely," V said, staying in the van outside. "I don't need to be in the line of fire." Ren sighed, rubbing his temples. "Guys, this feels like a trap. We should stick to formation." "We don't need a babysitter, Ren," Kale spat out over the comms, before muting his mic. They entered the warehouse zone separately. They were miles apart, both physically and emotionally. Director Silas didn't send a squad this time. He sent a battalion. Kale was the first to realize the mistake. He was on the rooftop when floodlights blinded him. Usually, V would have killed the lights, or Jax would have drawn fire. But V was sulking in the van with her audio off, and Jax was 3 blocks away, angry and marching to his own beat. Kale was fast, but he couldn't outrun laser grids alone. He was cornered, neutralized, and dragged into a black Omnicorp transport. Jax kicked down the front door of the warehouse, expecting his team to be flanking him. Instead, he walked into an empty room that suddenly sealed shut. Heavy combat droids dropped from the ceiling. "V, disable the locks!" Jax screamed into his comms. Static. "Ren, I need an exit route!" Silence. Without Kale to spot the weak points and Ren to guide him, Jax was just a big target. He fought bravely, but he was overwhelmed. The giant fell. V, sitting in the van, finally noticed the frantic distress signals blinking on her screen. Her heart stopped. Panic, cold and sharp, washed away her anger. She reached for the keyboard to hack the droids, but a cold metal barrel pressed against her temple. Echo stood in the open door of the van, smiling. "Too late, honey. You wanted to work solo? Now you are." Ren, realizing the comms had gone dead, tried to run to the extraction point, but he was a strategist, not a soldier. Silas himself was waiting for him at the end of the alleyway, flanked by 2 elite guards. "A general without an army," Silas said smoothly, adjusting his cufflinks, "is just a man standing in the rain." The next morning, the neon billboards in the lower sectors displayed a new message. It was a live feed of the Quad, imprisoned, stripped of their gear, and working in an OmniCorp heavy labor camp. They looked tired. They looked broken. But the saddest part wasn't their imprisonment. It was the realization in their eyes. They sat in the same cell, but they didn't look at each other. The shame was too great. They knew they hadn't been defeated by a stronger enemy. They hadn't been outgunned or outsmarted. They had been defeated because they listened to the whispers. They believed the lie that they were better off alone. In the high tower, Silas deleted the fracture protocol file. He didn't need it anymore. In a world that constantly tries to make you feel like you are the main character, remember this: you are only as strong as the people you stand beside. When we disconnect from each other, we become easy targets. We are unbreakable only when we are together. Chills, right? It's tragic how easily the Quad fell apart just because they let a little doubt creep in. We see this all the time. People thinking they have to cut everyone off to make it to the top. But this moral story hits us with the hard truth. Real power isn't about standing alone. It's about who's standing with you when the shields go down. I hope you take these life lessons with you this week. If you want to truly grow in life, look at your circle. Protect them, trust them, and stay synced. Because the lone wolf might look cool, but the pack survives. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment below. Who's in your squad? Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay connected.